You can get this product and so much more at www.safariltd.com. And don't forget to use the coupon code SpinoDude to save 15% on your next order and show your support for the channel. Hey guys, SpinoDude here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the 2020 Safari Ltd. Pachycephalosaurus. Alright, so first of all, as always, I want to send a massive thank you out to Safari Ltd. for sending this figure over to the channel and for making this review possible. Of course, this is the final figure out of the latest batch that we got, so we have a grand conclusion here with a brand new 2020 figure from Safari Ltd. Now, I actually predicted this Pachycephalosaurus was going to be arriving for this year in my 2019 figure prediction video, and this is actually my #1 pick, and I'm very happy that Safari decided to introduce a new Pachycephalosaurus to the range. Pachycephalosaurs are just extremely neglected in general when it comes to models and figures, and Safari has presented us with an absolutely gorgeous Pachycephalosaurus figure here. Now, first thing I'd like to sort of talk about before we get into the details and everything is the coloration. The colors here are absolutely beautiful. I love them. The bright orange color with the horizontal striping done in that very kind of faded bluish gray color. It really just looks great. The coloration here actually reminds me of some modern day snakes. And I really like how these horizontal stripes just come down and stop right before the legs and kind of break up the osteoderms that are going along the body there. The osteoderms are bordered in a black color as well, which I was actually worried about. I thought that would look a little bit awkward in person because I wasn't too sure on them from the promo images, but I think they work out really well in person and just add a little bit of diversity to the color scheme besides just the orange and that bluish gray color. So yeah, the coloration here is fantastic. As for sculpted detail on the body, it is wonderful. We have little tiny scales throughout the body here, very consistent in size overall. Perhaps it would have been nice to have a little bit more diversity in the scale size and overall style, but I think it works out, and the figure is complemented with a few brown washes, especially over the bluish gray parts of the body, to really make that detail pop, and I think it looks very nice overall. The feet have really nice bird-like scales running down each of the toes. The toes are painted in a creamy color, as well as the claws on the hands there, and all of the little osteoderms running down the body are in that same creamy color as well. Now, one thing I wanted to address with this figure is something that's really interesting to me. If you look at the dorsal view for this figure, for any of you that own the Safari Ltd. Dracorex, which I believe came out in 2012, as you know, Dracorex is synonymous with Pachycephalosaurus now. It is just a juvenile of this same genus. If you guys have that figure, you'll notice a similarity when you look at the dorsal view on that one when comparing it with this one. Very chunky midsection here, and then right at the base of the tail it is also very chunky, and it tapers off very quickly into this almost paper thin tail. Now, I personally cannot find any information on this. This is present in 2 Pachycephalosaurid figures from Safari Ltd. now, and I can't find any information personally on whether or not this was an actual thing with Pachycephalosaurs. The midsection I can see definitely being chunky, but I just find the tail a little bit odd looking. But since I personally cannot confirm or deny whether this is correct or not, I'd like to ask you guys if you know anything about this. So I don't have anything against it, I don't have anything for it, because I just don't know anything about it in general. I just thought that was very interesting how the dorsal view between this figure and Safari's previous Pachycephalosaurid figure is just very similar overall. Now let us zoom in and take a look at probably the most exciting part of this animal, which is its head. Overall, just absolutely gorgeous sculpt and paintwork here. The eyes are beautiful on this figure. Just the glossy, dark reddish orange color for the eyes with the black pupil really makes them pop. And the little black border around the eye as well really helps bring attention and really isolate the eyes from the rest of the head. I actually think these are the nicest and most realistic looking eyes out of the entire 2020 range from what I've seen so far. The detailing of the knobbiness and the dome on the head is beautiful as well. And you see right there is a little painted pink divot on the skull there, and that is actually a battle scar. This is in reference to some scientists thinking that Pachycephalosaurs would have jousted with each other using their reinforced skulls, potentially to compete for a mate or for territory. And you can see this particular individual has gotten away with a little scar atop his dome. And that's just great attention to detail. Safari did the same thing with their Triceratops from 2018 and their Tyrannosaurus Rex from 2017 with the facial scarring. And I think it just really makes the animals feel more alive, more natural, when they have these little imperfections built into them, and I would definitely love to see this continued across more figures in the future. Now, I was comparing the skull here to actual skulls of Pachycephalosaurus online, and it does seem like that the overall shaping of the front of the snout is a little bit inaccurate. It's really not that bad though when you compare it, but most of the adult skulls of Pachycephalosaurus that I've seen have less of a gradual slope that's going up into the dome on the head. I'll put an image up on screen, but you can see that the end of the snout really just kicks up all of a sudden and just shoots right up into the dome on the head, if that makes sense. You'll see in the picture. The skull here seems to be based more off of a subadult skull in general rather than a full adult, so that might have been the intention of the sculptor instead of having a fully adult specimen. Also, the pose is quite nice as well. It's very basic, but it's a biped. The tail doesn't touch the ground. It looks very natural, and there's potential for some great angles with photography, etc. So I think the pose works extremely well. I like how calm the animal looks, and once again, very natural. Yeah, so I think that sums up everything I have to say on this figure. Overall, beautiful addition to the Safari Ltd range, and guys, I think this is my new favorite figure for 2020. This one actually kind of blew me away when I first pulled it out of its packaging. So yes, I definitely recommend this one if you can get your hands on it. But in case you're wondering how large this figure is, from the tip of the snout to the tip of the tail, we are looking at just about 8 inches long, which is about 20 centimeters. And in terms of the height at the highest point, which is the top of the dome on the skull there, we are looking at about 4¼ inches, which is about 11 centimeters. And for our consistent size comparison with all Safari Ltd figures on the channel, here is the Pachycephalosaurus with Safari's mascot, Bernie the Gator. And we'll zoom out here a little bit as well, scoot these guys over, to bring in another 2020 figure from Safari Ltd, which is their Edmontosaurus regalis. This was previously my favorite 2020 figure from Safari Ltd, but it's now been scooted down to second place because this Pachycephalosaurus is absolutely beautiful, and I think these two complement each other really nicely on the shelf. I actually have them both next to each other. So anyway guys, I think that's going to do it for this review of the 2020 Safari Ltd Pachycephalosaurus. Once again, massive thank you to Safari Ltd for sending this one out to the channel. If you guys want to get one for yourself, make sure to use the coupon code SpinoDude to save 15% on your next. If you guys want to get one for yourself, make sure to use the coupon code SpinoDude at checkout to save 15% on your entire order and to show your support to the channel. When you use that code, you are financially supporting me and the channel, so I want to thank Safari Ltd for setting that up. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you think of this one, and if you're going to pick it up yourself, leave a like if you like, and I'll see you guys in my next video. So take care, and bye-bye.